Reborn.
Alright guys, well some of you have been waiting for this vid and here it is. I'm finally unveiling new Ducati I've been working on for a few months. If some of you recall, I picked up this bike back in December, made a couple posts about it, made a separate video about it. I got done with it basically April, but I had to wait for a few parts to be made for it in concerning carbon fiber, which I'll show you in a moment here. It took a couple months to get the carbon fiber made. It's about 9 weeks to get all the carbon fiber pieces I put on it made. And here's some of the carbon fiber right there. And as you can see, I got a little bit of a theme. So this is a Ducati Monster Dark. And it just wasn't dark enough for me. So I darkened it out a lot. And then I added yellow accents, yellow gold accents. Here you can see the wraps. I had done a separate video on it. I had these gauge faces made special. I don't think anybody else has those anywhere. And here you can see them lit up. You can see in the next where I pan down here, I adapted this headlight cover from a different bike, and it has a honeycomb look to it. So this bike with the black and the yellow and the honeycomb and the turn signals kind of look like stingers, so I'm calling it the Hornet. And I had this seat special made in Europe, and yeah, I mean, you know, I learned a lot about Ducati working on this thing and building it back up. Basically, if anybody remembers, I had said the guy had dropped it about 10 years ago and just parked it in the garage, didn't do anything with it, and it sat there, and can't let anything with an engine sit for a decade, because it took a lot of work to bring this sucker back to life. I had to go through the entire bike, bolt by bolt, nut by nut, and there isn't a piece in here I haven't messed with. And I had to replace a bunch of parts, stuff I wasn't expecting had to get done. It's just what happens when you don't ride a bike for a long time. Here's the turn signal. Kind of reminds me of a Stinger, right? So that's why I'm calling it the Hornet. These mufflers, they're the original mufflers, but I cored them so they sound really good once this thing is running, which I'll show you in just a few moments. And put some wider pegs on there. I didn't like they had these little pegs on there, and I want the wider ones. And chain, I did brakes, everything on this bike I messed with. And as you can see, it doesn't have rear pegs because I don't need anybody riding with me. And this piece, if you remember from my last video about this, where I was talking about the exhaust pipe and how I hated the exhaust pipe hanging down, and that's the piece. So what does this thing ride like? Let's take a look, huh? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. So there you go, guys. With enough time, effort, and a little bit of money, you can turn a complete piece of junk into a jewel. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll be making more videos of this beauty coming down the pipe pretty soon. All right, take care.